Hello, I'm Gary Taylor.
And I'm Paul Rossiter.
And we're from TVS Specialty Products.
And in this short video, we thought we'd try and demonstrate how the TVS3 Echo unit can emulate the lovely singing quality of the Vox Long Tom tape echo unit. To do so, we'll briefly show how we set up the echo patterns using the programmable capability of the TVS, and then demonstrate that with a sound file, hopefully reproducing that same singing quality.
Excellent.
In order to do this comparison, I'll use the measurements I made on a Vox Long Tom owned by Robbie Genoasa some time ago, and to compare the sounds of the TVS3 with the Vox Long Tom, I'll also use a great track recorded by Robbie fairly recently called Raining in My Heart. Here's the results of a long tom measurement I took a while ago, showing the plucked note and two delayed echoes from heads 5 and 6. The delay to head 5 and head 6 can be measured from this, and are evidently about 390 and 465 milliseconds, and the amplitudes of the two echoes are roughly the same. This data, together with the measured frequency response for the long tom heads, allows us to set up the appropriate TVS3 patch parameters. Here's a screenshot of the TVS3 patcher program used to set up the patches in the TVS3, indicating that we can use just 4 of the delay lines to achieve the 390 and 465 millisecond delays appropriate to the long tom heads 5 and 6. We've set up the amplitudes so that head 6 is just a little bit below head 5 as per the measured data, and feedback taken from head 5. While I didn't do a plucked string comparison using these settings when I had access to Robbie's long tom, I did do a comparison with the TVS3 using 4 repeats, and here they are first on the Vox Long Tom and then the TVS3. While there's some obvious differences in plucking strength and string damping, I think they do indicate that the general settings are probably fairly close. However, these plucked string comparisons only tell a small part of the story, and they don't reveal that lovely singing airy quality of the Vox Long Toms and Miazzi tape and drum echo units. To do this, we have to actually listen to and compare sequences of music. As mentioned earlier on, the track we're going to take for this comparison is the very lovely Raining in My Heart, recorded by Robbie Genoasa using his Vox Long Tom and available on his YouTube channel. Here's Robbie's version. And here's that same section played by me using the TVS3 and the settings I mentioned earlier on. while I can't hope to match Robbie's superb playing style, I think that these two sections do show that there's quite a good comparison between the TVS3 emulating the Long Tom and the real thing. Just to reinforce the point, here's a short section where I'll switch between the two performances.
Well, that all looked and sounded rather convincing.
Yes.
It's very hard to tell the difference.
Yes, it's closer than I expected, given that there are different performers and different equipment being used. But at least I think it shows that the TVS3 brings that singing quality out from the performance quite well.
It certainly did. It certainly did. Yeah, as I say, it's really, really difficult to tell it. Very impressive.
Yeah. Of course, there will always be subtle differences. It's impossible to reproduce a performance frozen in time.
Well, it's difficult to reproduce somebody else's performance as well, of course, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. Yes,
because everyone's got a different playing style, and no matter how hard you try to copy somebody, it's always going to come out slightly differently.
Yes.
Or even if the same person tries to do the same thing again.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a better way of doing it would be to have the same performer providing the sound file, providing that file into each of the echo units, so you had an identical performance to do the comparison. Unfortunately, Robbie lives in Sydney on the other side of Australia, so we don't have access to his unit. But in the next video, where we'll be demonstrating the TVS3 emulating a Miazzi unit, we do have access to both, and so we'll do this direct A/B comparison.
Great.
So watch this space.
Watch this space. Cheers.